more noise.
Anybody that can jump in one of these cars and drive it, I got all the respect for in the world.
Any drag race is hard to predict. I think the fans are going to get what they pay for.
Also today, the Winternational drag races from Pomona, California. Los Angeles County Fairgrounds in Pomona, California, site of the 22nd annual Winternational drag races. Drag racing is a unique spectator sport, where the spectator can step down from his bleacher seat and in a matter of moments be in a bazaar-like atmosphere where he can buy something for his car. Or take a stroll over to the pit area and watch a top fuel machine be taken apart and put back together in a matter of moments. Get an autograph from his favorite driver. And if he has a camera, take a picture of the leading lady speedster. Or shudder at the sight and sound of a tire screeching burnout. Hello, I'm Chris Economaki in the middle of this 250-acre parking lot turned sports arena this weekend. More than 600 cars and drivers have come here, seeking a share of the more than $454,000 in prize money. But we'll be concentrating on the three senior categories of the sport. Pro Stock, cars that look like the ones parked outside your house or apartment. Funny Car, a surrealistic plastic body that houses an all-out racing machine. And Top Fuel, the ultimate fire-breathing, tire-smoking racing cars. Working with us today will be an accomplished artist, writer, and racing driver. A man who has seen action at Daytona, Sebring, and Indianapolis, Sam Posey, who right now is out where it all happens on the Pomona drag strip.
Well, Chris, it's still relatively quiet over on this side where you can just see the start line behind me there. But where I am, I can almost feel the heartbeat of the crowd as they anticipate the beginning of the semifinal rounds for this, the first major drag racing meet of the year. You know, it isn't often that you can take an entire sport and distill it and find just one essence. But in drag racing, the essence is just one thing, and that is acceleration, pure and simple. Because of this specialization, dragsters have reached the point where their sheer performance is out of this world, even compared to other vehicles known for their acceleration. An 800-horsepower Indianapolis car, for example, takes fully 10 seconds to accelerate a quarter of a mile, while the dragster will do it in less than 6. But I think the most vivid comparison of all may be this. Suppose you were to take one of these dragsters to the top of a building that was a quarter of a mile high, say the Empire State Building. And if you pushed that car off the top of the building, it would actually take longer to fall to the ground than it would to accelerate up this quarter-mile drag strip.
And there's no pieces to pick up here, Sam. Well, the Funny Car semifinal matchups, impressive to say the least. And one man who won't be in the semifinals is Don Perdum, Mr. Funny Car, eliminated early, along with many other big names. Now, Hawley on the near lane in the red car. He's from London, Ontario, and has been the fastest qualifier and fast all meet long. Beetle in the far lane in the Blue Max is a three-time world champion. It should be a fine race as they enter the staging area. Uh-oh, Hawley's backing up, Sam.
Well, Chris, what I think happened when he did his burnout a moment ago, Hawley didn't get the traction he wanted, and his crew chief motioned him to move slightly to the side. He's moved about a yard to his left there.
Well, this is going to upset Beetle because these engines are heating up. There's no radiators, no water, no cooling system. It could be a costly delay for Raymond Beetle.
Well, exactly. These cars can... Oh, look at that. Beetle is backing up. He's pulling a maneuver of his own. So we have a heavy psychological implications here before the start.
I would say that the temper has gone up in the blue car. I really would. Waiting now for the lights, Buster Couch, the flag band, to press the button, sending these two semifinalists on their way. Hawley on the near lane, Beetle on the far side. Down the strip, it's close, close, close. And at the end, it's Beetle at 5.975 seconds, 244.56 miles an hour. And Hawley was even quicker at 5.969, but he didn't get there first. And so the Blue Max goes to another final round.
Well, of course, Chris, both drivers see the green light at exactly the same instant. But in this case, it was Beetle who reacted faster. I think getting angry there on the line had the effect of sharpening his reflexes.
And milliseconds win and lose this kind of racing. Al Segrini, a proper Bostonian in the near line for the second semifinal. His last victory, his only victory, came in '74. He goes against Doc Halliday of St. Paul, who's never won a national event. And the two cars come to the staging area.
When the electric eye on the left is broken by the nose of the car, that's called pre-stage. The center eye signals staging. The right beam triggers the clock as the car starts its run toward the speed trap, here at the other end of the course. The trap is 132 feet long. It's divided in half by the finish line, and it is through this trap that the car's speeds are recorded.
And those speeds sometimes are as high as 245 miles an hour. Okay, here we are on the line. Segrini in the near lane gets off fast, and Halliday has a bad start, and it's going to be Segrini with an easy win. And he stops the clock at 237.36 miles an hour, 6.217 seconds. And Al Segrini goes to a final for the first time since 1974. Is he a happy fellow from the state of Massachusetts? So the final will be Max Beadle and Super Brute Segrini. Top fuel time now, and everyone on the grounds is talking about Ladies' Day at the drag. Shirley Muldowney, the only two-time world champion, all set for her semifinal, and Lucille Lee, a secretary, has made the semifinal.
The following performance.
California, where the sky is clouding up. Shirley Muldowney and Jeb Allen, Dick LaHaye and Lucille Lee. Two men, two women in the semifinals. And here comes one of the coolest professionals in all of drag racing, Shirley Muldowney. No drag racer other than Shirley has ever won 2 world championships. She's on her burnout. It looks as though we may well have an all-girl final. And earlier, I talked to Shirley about the prospects of such an event taking place here today.
I think that's great. I think it's really good for the sport. What I see out of Lucille, I like. And it would be different, wouldn't it? I don't plan to lose it, though.
Oh, well, of course, before she would get a crack at Lucille Lee, she must first dispense with this man, Jeb Allen, 27 years old, just back from a tour of racing in Australia, the winner of this event last year, the Winternationals last year. So, 2 world champions facing off against each other, Shirley Muldowney and Jeb Allen.
And everyone is on the qui-vive. They're rooting for an all-girl final in the grandstands here. A record crowd, 61,000 so far for the meet. And Shirley lifts up the front wheels, but outraces Allen at the start. And Allen shuts off, and it's an easy one for Shirley. She clocked 5.872, an under 6-second run, despite the fact that Allen slowed. 242.58 miles an hour. And Shirley Muldowney goes to another final round. Will she have a female opponent?
Well, here's her crew, obviously delighted. Ron Tobler is her chief mechanic, and her son, John, works on the team. Shirley, a quarter of a mile away, is obviously delighted. But now there's very little time to get ready for the final.
And here's the remarkable Lucille Lee, a Long Beach, California secretary, who last summer told her boss, who owns his car, that she thought it would be fun to drive his car. So he took her down to the drag strip, put her in it, and gave her some runs which were critiqued. Then she went to the U.S. Nationals in Indianapolis, and lo and behold, set fast time on opening day. Now here in her second professional drag race, she has made the semifinals. Everyone is talking about Lucille and Shirley, and I asked her about a rivalry between herself and Miss Muldowney.
No, I really don't consider her my rival at all. I think she inspired me to do this myself. If we're both in the finals, then it's going to be a good race.
Lucille, you have one sort of an advantage in that all the other drivers, with the possible exception of Shirley, are in the bowels of the engine. They've got their sleeves rolled up, they've got wrenches and tools in their hand, and they're concerned and they're working. It may be tiring, but it also may keep their mind off the next round. You're just standing here watching the work. Would you rather be working on the car?
No, I don't know anything about the car.
Well, of course, for years it was considered absolutely necessary to know everything you could mechanically about your car. Now Lucille comes along, and maybe there's a new way.
Well, she's proven that you don't have to understand automobiles to make the semifinals. Dick LaHaye, a 20-year veteran with only 1 national win to his credit, coming up against a 4-month veteran, Lucille Lee. LaHaye won 2 years ago in Englishtown, New Jersey for his only national triumph. We wait now for the green light to see whether the final will hold 2 women, and they're off, and Lucille smokes her tires, and LaHaye goes down, and he'll mix with Shirley Muldowney when it's all over. And Dick LaHaye takes the clock at 5.930 seconds, 234.98 miles an hour to go against Shirley Muldowney in the top fuel final. And Lucille Lee's disappointing time of 7.336 seconds reflected a speed of only 123.79 miles an hour.
And Chris, look who's congratulating Dick LaHaye. It's Shirley Muldowney herself. Let's have another look at that run, especially focusing on Lucille Lee on the left there in the blue car. She comes off the line looking very, very good, but right here, see the smoke coming off her rear tires, too much wheel spin, and that's where she lost the race.
That's a no-no in any drag race. And here's Dick LaHaye, the Michigander, getting out of his car. He's looking forward to preparing the machine and going into the finals against Shirley Muldowney. We'll be back with more. Pro Stock final time coming up now. That class that is so difficult to excel in because of the complicated rules that prevail. But this year the rules have been eased somewhat. All cars must weigh 2,350 pounds and have 500-inch engines. Here's the world champion, Lee Shepard, his rival Frank Iaconio. Both are in Chevrolet Camaros, so it should be an even match. Shepard in the near lane, Iaconio in the far lane as they come to the staging area, ready to go down the quarter-mile strip, shooting for $12,000. And they're about ready to go. And so they do. It's very close. With Iaconio starting to pull ahead. Tremendous horsepower. Puts Iaconio over the line. 7.835 seconds, 174.08 miles an hour. And the new rules have made Pro Stock an extremely fast category. Okay, let's go back now and take another look on that win by the Easterner. Partway down the strip, Iaconio's yellow car starts to surge ahead. Great horsepower, getting it all to the ground, and he wins by several car lengths, a wide margin in drag racing. And they gather up the parachute. Frank Iaconio prepares to get out of the car, thinking about that Italian dinner he'll have tonight. But in the pits is Sam Posey with Lucille Lee.
Chris, the mood here is not as bleak as you might think. Disappointment, yes, but this team knows it's got a future. Lucille, it was a great day for you. What happened at the end?
I think it just got a little loose out in the middle there. There was a hose off the... I think it was just too powerful.
So it was a problem with the new engine that you just fitted before the run.
There was oil all over the tires and everything, so evidently some oil just blew out and got me a little loose.
He's learning about cars. It's funny car final time now, with Raymond Beadle in the famous Blue Max in the near lane, the challenger Al Segrini in his car in the far lane. Beadle, a three-time world champion and one of the biggest winners in funny car racing, is the heavy favorite in this competition now, waiting for the light to go green. They rev up their engines, watching the Christmas tree. There are the lights, and it's away. And Beadle and Segrini hit the throttle at the same moment. Blaine belches the exhaust, and Segrini pulls ahead to beat Beadle by the better part of a car length. A remarkable upset for the Massachusetts rider, and his crew is extremely happy. His speed, 238.09 miles an hour, 6.262 seconds in beating the man from Dallas. And so Al Segrini, who waited almost 8 years for this victory, is about to be overwhelmed by his happy crew. And coming up, the Top Fuel final, and Shirley Muldowney's ready for that. We'll be back to see. It's main event time. The Top Fuel final, and Shirley Muldowney in the starring role. Dick LaHaye, in a sense, in a supporting role. Shirley, twice a world champion. Dick LaHaye, only one victory in 20 years of competition.
Chris, Shirley is also an expert shot with a pistol. She's in her early 40s, and, you know, in spite of her age, she is known for her fast reflexes, her fast starts off of the line.
Oh, there's his son, John. Oh, the engine stopped. The car stalled. Oh, unbelievable. Oh, this puts her out of the race, Sam. The rules say that once an engine stalls after the burnout, it may not be restarted. Its rule is hardly ever implemented. It's a tough break for Shirley Muldowney, and here comes Dick LaHaye. And for him to win the Top Fuel final honors, all he has to do is float down the strip.
What an incredible development for her. As you said, Chris, this is something that almost never happens. We haven't seen it at any time during this meet.
I don't know whether all those people pushing a car are aware that they're not allowed to restart it.
Well, of course, when you're a racer, you always live in hope. You can't believe the thing could be over.
Well, Dick LaHaye seems to be uncertain as to his role here. He's going to have to go down, but he doesn't know whether he should go now or what. It's really never happened, particularly in a final event such as this, as we're seeing here today, with so much money at stake. $16,000 to win the Winternational Top Fuel Race. And now Dick LaHaye is ready to go. He's waiting for the light to send him on his way, and he can just, in a sense, cruise down the strip.
That's all he has to do, drive very slowly. That's John Muldowney there, Shirley's son. He waves to Dick LaHaye, obviously a dejected young man. Here's LaHaye. As you said, Chris, all he has to do is drive slowly down there, but he chooses to make quite a charge and almost has some trouble there. He gets it straightened out, gets through the light, but it wasn't an exceptionally fast run. It was 6.119 seconds, which isn't exceptional, on top speed at the end of 231 miles an hour. Well, I've raced for a lot of years, and I can tell you this. When you race and lose, that's bad. But when you don't even get to race, that's the worst thing that can happen to you. My feeling really goes out to Shirley there. Of course, by contrast, the weekend for Dick LaHaye has been exceptional. The 40-year-old Michiganer, his crew now going down to see him at the end of the line, has won himself $16,000. Here's Chris with Shirley.
Well, Shirley, the favorite to win, and you never got off the line. Mechanical trouble, I know, but what kind?
It just lost fire, and that sometimes happens with new cars. It could be something in the fuel tank, but Dick LaHaye was having the same problem all weekend long, and they had to go out there and kind of prime it with gasoline, and John was there with the gas. I don't know what happened yet.
In layman's language, the engine stalled, right?
It did. It stalled.
You don't look too disappointed.
I'm very disappointed, but I'm happy for Dick because he's my hero. And it was a great race, and there's going to be another one next month.